Hey everyone, it is me Fashion Coder, and today we are going to be doing a recap on what's happened in the last 6 months since PulseChain was launched, and then we're also going to be looking at what is coming up. So I'm so pumped. When I was first going over the material of what I was going to say, I was like, what has happened in the last 6 months? And then as I started thinking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, literally so much has happened in the last 6 months. So we're just going to recap some of it. I would love to know in the comments what has been your biggest high in the last 6 months, and then also your biggest low, or something that you think has been low for the community, or whatever you want to put. But I want to know. So we're first going to be going over PulseChain. So PulseChain did launch. It launched in mid-May, which I personally thought was slightly savage of Richard Heart to do it like that. I think it was actually just timing that it happened that way. But the year before, Richard was like, we're going to launch mid-May, but he never said which May. And then it was the next year. So I thought that was super funny. But also, we finally got it. And in that moment, I was freaking out. I was at a Mexican restaurant with my parents when I found out. And it had been 2 minutes since it had been posted. And thank goodness I was with my dad, because he was so calm. And that's exactly what I needed. So PulseChain did launch, which is awesome. And with that, all of these other projects have launched. So Internet Money was one of the first projects to launch within the PulseChain network, which is super exciting, because if you want a specific wallet that is PulseChain based, you can do that one, which is really cool. And all sorts of other projects have been launched too, different projects within Power City and so many other ones that I'm not going to list them all right now. But it was launched. Right here is the price chart of about the last 6 months of Pulse on through PulseX, as you can see, it's right here. And guess what? I think a lot of us predicted that this was going to happen, and we can see the chart right here that this is what happened. So it did go up a little bit, and then it is in its belly right now. And so my predictions coming up is that, it's going to go through the same cycle that a lot of tokens go through, where it does go through this very low and then it spikes. And I mean, we are going to be having a bull run here and hopefully the next year or so. And so looking at this, it totally makes sense. So what does that mean? It's a great time to buy. This is not financial advice, but if it were me, I would buy. So that is just exciting to look at that. And then we can come to our pulsechain.com. Same things. So we can actually go to pulse.com. We can see all sorts of statistics. I love the different websites that the community has made within all sorts of things, because oh my gosh, they're just amazing. But this website's super cool. So come in, check this out. We are on day 144. That's awesome. So yeah, come check it out. Users, 626K. Anyways, so come and check this out. It's really cool. And if you don't know what PulseChain is, I guess I probably should have started with that. It is a fork of Ethereum, which means that they copied all of the code and then they decided to do things differently. And then, yeah. So it is a network that helps offload some of the traffic from Ethereum, which is cool. And this is how you add it to your wallet if you want to do that. All right. Next up, if you want to exchange, PulseX is out, which is so great. Something, though, that I haven't heard much about is the pools. And I don't think we have anything within our single-sided stake pools. You can go in and farm right now. And, I mean, even these APRs are still really high. The APRs the first day, though, oh, man. I have screenshots because I was like, I will never see an APR this high ever again in my entire life. Anyways, so you can come in, you can mess around with that if you'd like. Okay, and then getting back to my list of things that I actually wrote about what is going on. So within the last 6 months, something that ended up happening is Richard Heart was sued by the SEC. And this was a really interesting timing because it happened right before a lot of us met up in Austin, Texas for Maddie Allen's 48-hour conference for PulseChain, which if you want to go look at that, just look up Maddie Allen PulseChain conference, and you can see that there's the different ones. It's not the one that was a year ago, it's the ones that was a month ago, and there's all different parts. So 1, 2, 3, I think there's maybe 5 or 6. Can't remember, but there's a lot of parts. So go in, check that out. There's so much wealth and knowledge that comes in that you have to go watch it. So also shout out to Maddie. I love him. He's the best. Anyway, so back to it. So Richard Heart was sued by the SEC for several different things. If you're interested, you can actually go in and look up what he was sued for through the SEC's website and go take a look. It's an interesting document to read and also kind of know what's going on. So the SEC sues Richard. Then we have the conference, and then Highest of Stakes comes out at the exact same time, which Highest of Stakes is a documentary on Richard Hart. It was a great movie. I also got to sit by Maddie at that, which was so cool. So they had the premiere in Florida, and then the next day we were able to see some of the people, like producer-wise, at the one in Austin, which was super neat. Anyways, long story short, it was a cool documentary. I would recommend seeing it if you haven't yet, but that is also a big monumental thing that ended up happening too. A couple of other things that happened as well is the PULSECHAIN tour. And the PULSECHAIN tour, oh my goodness, the people that have been a part of that have just like put so much effort into it, and so proud of our community for the things that they have done. And so I got to see sweet SJ when she was driving through where I live, which, you know, is always a good thing to be able to see our fellow Hexicans. And so saw her, and then I've actually gotten to see a lot of my like really good close crypto friends in the last 6 months. So that's been exciting. And then, oh my gosh, our community has just gone all out when it comes to onboarding. And I mean, it kind of like isn't surprising, but also it like totally makes sense. And when I say onboarding, like people are onboarding people through validators, through, you know, their courses, through just like simple tweets, anything like that. Like people are being added to the community. And I mean, what a better time. Everything is literally so low in price. Hex is low, PulseX low, Pulse is low. Like it is a good time to buy. Like I said, not financial advice, but it is a good time to buy. And so proud of our community. As, you know, times have been really interesting since PulseChain has launched, but they've been doing good. And then what is upcoming? So obviously there are lots of projects that are up and coming that are going to be released to PulseChain, and it's been really exciting getting to meet like with different founders and hear like what's going on, and you know, their like hopes and aspirations, you know, everything like that. But one of the probably like most waited on projects that is coming in the month of October, is what the CEO announced, is liquid loans. And so that is just so exciting because, you know, people have been waiting for this one for a long time. And testnet honestly released about a year ago around this time. And so they've had a year to be able to go in and do what they wanted to do. And I think it's going to honestly just be something that people are very blown away with. So liquid loans is launching this month, hopefully. And then, you know, we do have our prices that we can go in and look at our Pulse, our PulseX, and our Hex and see, you know, what is upcoming, right? So upcoming liquid loans, and then the upcoming part of how are you going to continue investing if you're DCAing or whatever your strategy is. How are you doing that to move forward? So it's so exciting. I'd love to hear about your highs and lows of the last 6 months of in life in general, or within the Pulse community, the Hex community. I'd love to know. All right, have a great day. Bye.